Hi there, my name is Chet Bruce and I'll be hosting your visit today. Thanks for joining the webinar. What you're going to learn today are those things seldom taught to new real estate agents, but vital if you're going to have a long and successful career. I'll be teaching you things that you can do to build your business without using my service. But if you do choose to use me, your job becomes a lot easier and you'll have more time to do what you do best, and that is to sell and to list. I'll also tell you, if you do decide to try me, we'll be looking at each other to be sure that we will be successful working together. I'll also tell you up front, I'm not going to ask you for any money today. In the next several slides, I'll let you read what professional real estate experts have to say. First, this is from Mike, I believe it's Lauji. 35 years as a real estate and mortgage broker. Now, another way to put that is that 90% of all commissions are earned by only 10% of the agents. And this is from licensed broker Matthew Holder. And from Chris Lewis, who's a real estate agent, consultant, marketer, and investor. Now, we know a real estate agent's biggest challenge, whether the market is hot or cold, is finding people to talk to. That is the real reason 85% of all agents starting today will no longer be in the business in 5 years. Think about this. If you can put another 15 people in your list that will sell their home in the next 2 to 5 years, what would that do for you? Or better yet, how about if you did that every month? What effect would that have on your business? Imagine your business where it did not matter if the market was hot, a seller's market, or cold, a buyer's market. If you were doing business strictly online and you went with 100 successful internet entrepreneurs and you asked the question, how can I be successful in my internet business? The resounding answer would be build a list and nurture it. Now, in your brick and mortar business, the answer is the same, and let me tell you why. Every real estate agent knows the facts about your prospects and clients, yet 90% do nothing to take advantage of the facts. Here they are. 32% of all sales last year were first-time home buyers. 1 in 9 homeowners will move in the next 12 months. 12% of the population will consider selling their home in the next 12 months. Now here's the biggie. 85% of all homeowners would prefer to use the same agent when selling their home that sold them their home. But only 13% actually do. The reason they don't falls mostly on the agent because the homeowner has lost contact with that agent. In your business, you have a choice. You can burn through leads looking for Mr. and Mrs. Right Now, or you can bank the ones that are Mr. and Mrs. Not Right Now. And what you do with those not right nows is put them in your list. But truthfully, the list alone will not create sales and listings for you. The real money is in follow-up, but it has to be follow-up done the right way. That is what this webinar is all about. The webinar will show you how you're going to build a list that can give you the comfortable feeling of knowing that no matter what the market is, hot or cold, you can start every month knowing you will have people calling you, asking if you can list their home or find a home for them. Then you will learn how to romance that list so that those people on that list will know, like, respect, and recognize you as their real estate agent, taking your reputation to the point they will not even think about contacting anyone else. What you're doing is building relationship with your clientele. And remember, the list equals your clientele, even if they have not done business with you yet. Now, before we start, you should know a little bit about me. I've been a salesman and an entrepreneur all my life, from selling insurance and home improvement products to operating a very successful retail operation with multiple locations. In 1995, I opened an ISP, that's an internet service provider, offering internet connections. That was in the days of 33.6 dial-up, then 56K dial-up. We were also among the first to build websites for the World Wide Web. I retired in early 2000, but did not want to quit working and started doing internet marketing for small business. That was about the time that Google started focusing on local rather than World Wide Web. In 2013, I was affected by the crash like so many others, and when I lost my last client, who happened to be a dentist, who closed up shop and went to work for someone else, I changed the direction of my business. I took a year and did research on how the consumer has changed since Google made its change. I wrote a best-selling book titled The 21st Century Transformation. And what we'll talk about here is what I learned over the last 20 plus years. You're going to learn exactly what is working for agents that look just like you. Agents that have implemented a plan that is working on autopilot, where almost all you do is answer the phone to make 36, 48, even 60 or more sales or listings every year. If you want to be in that 10% of agents that capture 90% of the commissions, you must implement a program like this. You really have no choice. Honestly, most agents and even teams don't have the whole picture. So what you're going to see today is a complete plan with no detail left out. I will warn you up front, it can be daunting. But don't worry. If you don't have the staff, the knowledge, the technology, and the time you need to make it to the top in this industry, we can just do it for you. That frees you up to do what you do best, working with buyers and sellers. The steps we give you here, if followed, will expedite how fast you can reach the top 10%. Sure, you'll have to do what only you can do, but it is totally manageable and easy. And we'll teach you how to do it. First, I will offer consulting to any agent who wants to implement their own program, and I'll do that on an honor system. I help you, then you pay me what you think the help was worth. Second, at the end of the webinar, I'm going to show the cost if you bought the individual parts of the program. And then I'm going to present a complete money-saving, done-for-you service that will be very cost-effective. And of course, since this is a webinar, I will do a done-it discount and a bonus that you're not going to believe. And remember, I'm not going to ask you for any money today. Okay, so let's get started. First, let's talk about goals. Most of us feel like setting and achieving our goals can be like pushing a big rock uphill. In this training, we're going to try to make reaching a goal as simple as pushing a big rock downhill. So let's see if we can design a goal-setting plan for you today. Let's first talk about goals. The components that make up what most people call goals is a destination, desire, and then goals. First, your ultimate destination, which is made up of things like a great home, family, time to enjoy them. Then there's desire. In this case, since we're talking about real estate, that would be the number of closings that you want per month. But then there's the actual setting of the goal. But to establish a goal, you must know exactly what a true goal is. A true goal is something that can be accomplished the same day it is set. It is also something that can be accomplished without the aid or decision of anyone else. Completion of the goal is the path to reaching your desire and then your destination. Completion of the goal is the path to reaching your desire and your destination. And only you are responsible for your success. Use the proper system of goal setting, and you're guaranteed to reach your desires as well as reaching your destination. You have to start by writing down the answers to a series of questions. Now get your pen and paper out. I'm going to give you time to write down the answers to the questions. Of all the things we're going to cover today, this is probably the most important. So please don't just watch and listen. Participate. There are two sets of questions. The first set is designed to be the driving force behind everything you do in your business. How many closings a month do you think a really top agent does? Think about your hero, your mentor, the top person in your agency, maybe even some famous agent that you have heard about. Write that down. How many closings are you doing in a month? No one else is going to see these answers, so be honest here. How many actual closings, the part of the deal where you get paid, are you doing each month? Now write down the answer to this question. Do you want to reach a higher level, or are you satisfied where you are today? Okay, if you said you want to do better, write down what your perfect number would be. Those are the first set of questions. And the last one, your perfect number of closings, is your number one desire. Now you have to determine what your sales numbers are. But to do that, we need to agree on some terms. First of all, contact. A contact is the first time you meet someone who may be a prospect. It can be a casual meeting at Starbucks, in a meetup, or over the telephone in a cold call. Then there's the appointment. This is the first face-to-face meeting you have after meeting the prospect. Then there is a transaction. This is any action that requires a signature. And then there's the closing. This is the one we all like. This is where you get paid. Now let's use those to determine a series of numbers. Numbers which are yours alone, not mine, not your broker's, but all yours. How many contacts on an average do you have to make before you make an appointment? How many appointments on average do you have to make before you get a transaction? How many transactions on an average do you have to have before you get a closing? Okay, now it's time to put those numbers to work. I don't know your numbers, so I'll just use an example. Let's say I need 5 contacts to get an appointment, and I need 5 appointments to get a transaction, and 2 transactions to get a closing. Let's assume you want 4 closings a month, and then work backwards. 4 closings a month equal 8 transactions. 8 transactions a month equal 40 appointments. To get 40 appointments a month, you need to talk to 200 new people a month, or 10 new people a day for the 20 working days in a month. So the plan to reach your desire of 4 closings a month is simply to talk to 10 new people a day, 20 days a month, which is your daily goal. This is a goal that you control from start to finish daily, and no one has anything to say about the outcome of the goal except you. In setting any goal, it is vitally important that you are successful every day. As a human, it takes very little to discourage us. You want to set up your goals so you can absolutely reach your goal every day. If you don't know your personal ratios, use mine. But starting today, keep your own records of the number of people you talk to, how many give you an appointment, how many transactions, and how many closings. After a while, you know the true value of each new person you talk to. So now you've got your goals set. Let's do the rest of the lessons so finding those people to talk to becomes even easier because they will be calling you. Before we talk about prospecting, let's look at some numbers that most agree are correct. The average person will move every 5 to 7 years, but for our purposes here, let's say that number is 8 years. 12% of homeowners are considering selling in any given year. That means 88% will be selling in the next 7 years. Of the people you talk to, 1 in 9 are considering moving within 1 year, and 8 of 9 will move in the next 7 years. First-time home buyers accounted for 32% of all sales in 2017. If you talk to 10 unknown people a day, you should put at least 25 to 30 into your list every month. That will be buying or selling within the next 5 to 7 years, and have at the very least one listing or sale in that month. Most real estate agents prospect to get a listing or sale today. Now, there are some tools out there and advertising whose sole purpose is to do just that. The interesting thing is that those tools are throwing away all of the money you could be putting in the bank because you're not focusing on tomorrow. It is important at this point to mention you are doing some kind of prospecting right now. If it's working, do not stop. But please think about prospecting in a different way. Think about creating relationships with those people that are going to need you next year or the years after that. Expand your prospect base and understand prospecting is not about making a sale or getting a listing today. Now let's mention referrals. You get a referral because that person giving it has a relationship with you. They know, like, and trust you. That is usually because you've done a good job for them. When you expand your thinking to include those that will need you sometime within the next 5 to 7 years and build your relationship with them as well, your number of referrals will grow exponentially. Prospecting is a process and a chore. It is a chore because it is something you do all day, every day, and you do it with every person you meet and every client you talk to. Remember, Chris Lewis said, the most important factor for a real estate agent, and the one that distinguishes the most successful from the others, is a marketing strategy that results in consistent supply of leads. Chris Lewis also said, lead generation is the prime function of an agent. Servicing sellers and buyers is a secondary responsibility, because without a constant supply of new leads, there will be no clients. And Matthew Holder said, many agents are thinking about their current business and forget about what's next. But the successful and professional agents are doing whatever they can to cultivate and increase their pipeline of new business. It must be followed by a process if it is to be of value. Your number one job is to get prospects' contact information on your list for follow-up. But how do you get them on your list so they will follow you? You must give them something of value that is appropriate to them and that they can use right now, such as a book or a report that gives them valuable information, such as how to establish the current value of their home, or those things a first-time home buyer needs to know. The why is simple. It's the 88% of homeowners that are considering selling over the next few years, and the 8 in 9 who will move in the next 7 years, and the first-time home buyers that account for 32% of all sales. That was in 2017. And the average homeowner is moving in the next 5 to 7 years. You know those averages. Most real estate agents prospect for deals today and ignore the future. They are crippling themselves by not creating relationships with those that will need them in a few years. What we're talking about here does not address the way you are prospecting now. Don't stop. What we look at here are 2 added methods you must use if you're going to reach your desired place in your business. First is the constant use of ghost messaging process. Using it will bring you some listings and sales right away, but its real value lies in creating a basis for making long-lasting relationships. Before I go any further, I want to explain the ghost messaging process for you. The ghost messaging system delivers your personal message directly to a prospect's answering machine or to their service. The phone does not ring. Your message goes directly to the person's voicemail. I might add that Ghost Messaging System meets all federal and state regulations and is 100% legal. It complies with every regulation, including the Do Not Call list. It creates a steady stream of phone calls from people that want to move and people that will be moving in the next 3 to 5 years. Now, we're going to talk more about ghost messaging later. And then there's LinkedIn. Why LinkedIn? 2 main reasons. The people on LinkedIn have above average incomes. Using LinkedIn search, you can narrow your search down so you're talking to the kind of person you want to do business with. To be successful in LinkedIn, you need to create a good LinkedIn profile. Here's a link that will help. Once your profile is in place, follow this outline. Search for your perfect prospect, save the search to a downloaded file, send a connection request to that list. To those that connect, send a thank you note. And to those that respond, send a message asking a question. And then to those that answer the question, make an offer and connect offline. If they say yes, fulfill the offer and put them in your CRM or follow-up list. If they say no, ask if you can stay in touch offline, then put them in follow-up. Adding connections is what broadens your ability to connect with others. It gives you ability to communicate with all of the connections your connections have. I currently have 2,400 connections, and that gives me access to almost 1 million people. Now, always connect with lions. A lion is somebody that has thousands of connections, and they never turn down a connection request. The good news about this process is that it can be done with a free LinkedIn account, and most of it can be done almost on autopilot. Check out this address. But be aware that LinkedIn may stop allowing the use of any automatic software at any time. In all cases, get your connections offline as soon as possible. Now, another necessary tool you must have in prospecting is a good online appointment calendar. The one I use is from Schedule Once. This calendar will sync with a Google Calendar and can be set up to automatically send reminder messages to the people you have an appointment with by email or SMS Messenger. This calendar is online and can be accessed by any computer or cell phone. Every business needs some form of customer relationship management. That's a CRM system. CRMs are tools to organize your contact info and manage your relationship with current clients, prospective clients, and other contacts. They're address books on steroids, the modern version of old-fashioned Rolodex, but they do so much more. You can make your own CRM. Some real estate agents use an Excel spreadsheet to keep track of clients and prospects, but soon find it just too difficult to be effective. A better idea is to use a CRM app, software designed specifically for contact relationship management. An address book app like Google Contacts lets you list your contacts, add detailed contact info, write notes about each contact, and find email messages they send you in Gmail. You can even organize contacts into groups, perhaps to keep customers in one list and new leads, people you know will be customers in the future, in another. A CRM app will do that and more, thanks to the R in its name. That's relationship. CRM apps typically are built around relationships. They'll help you find your contacts and any messages that have been sent about your work with them. A CRM will help you get the big picture of your contacts, and it will help you know exactly what to talk about the next time you meet or email someone. A CRM is like your own mini social network filled with details about the people most important to your business. Your CRM is one of the 2 most important parts of your plan. Remember, early on in this webinar we talked about the dollar and cents value of building a list. We also talked about where the real money comes from, and that's in follow-up. The two most important parts of your plan are active follow-up and passive follow-up. Your CRM is the active follow-up system. CRM apps can feel scary, but they don't have to be so confusing. The same core ideas underpin every CRM. They're each designed to help you understand your contacts better and then put that knowledge to work. Now, there are four main types of CRM software. Conversation CRM, Lead and Deal CRM, then there is Contact CRM, Marketing CRMs. An effective CRM application provides an organized, comprehensive view of a real estate agent's clients and prospects, and the agent's interactions with them. The perfect CRM for a real estate agent is a combination of the different types. The key features you need are a way to keep a complete record of the entire family, husband, wife, and kids, a way to keep track of all conversations you have with the person, a way to list their wants and needs they are looking for in their next home, a way to search all entries in the CRM effectively, and a way to tell you the perfect time to contact the person. A major problem with the CRM is setting one up. The terminology is not clear on the various functions, and instructions are written by people that assume that the average person understands the meaning of all of their terms. We have worked with HubSpot to design the perfect CRM for a real estate agent. This CRM is set up just for real estate agents to keep you on track. Now, everything starts with a prospect. The definition of a prospect for the CRM is not just a name. It is someone that has given you full contact information, and that form is built into the CRM. Prospects are set up in a comprehensive form covering every person in the family. It keeps track of all prospects and clients in one of four separate status pages: prospect, listing, sale, and client follow-up. You track all conversations, email and telephone, by having your email and G Suite connected, so all email is copied to the person's record, and all email indicates when it is read. These are single messages, separate from those sent via autoresponder. A phone call with any person is noted also in the record. Now, the base version of this CRM comes with 15 minutes of calls. All entries into the CRM can be searched, even birthdays. And if you set it up, the prospect's wants and needs can be shown as well. Keeping details of a home you sell will help you find a home for a buyer, possibly. Using notes in the person's page, you can list their wants and needs and pin it to their timeline. You can set meetings from HubSpot appointment calendar using a web link. Meetings will be inserted in HubSpot records and in your Google Calendar. You can also set tasks to be done. See them in the Sales Task section of the app or on your timeline, and get email notification as a reminder. Using log activity, you can keep records of conversations made outside the app in the person's timeline. As a client, the CRM will be completely set up for you and ready to use. And you'll receive step-by-step instructions on how to use it in order to fulfill its role as one of the two most important pieces of follow-up, and that is active follow-up. Fact: 79% of all leads are never followed up. Every real estate agent knows that when you make a sale, you send flowers, and that's okay. Thank you notes are okay too. But that is not follow-up. Others think sending a company newsletter showing new listings is okay too, but that is wrong in so many ways. Remember this one thing if you forget everything else. Do not forget this. The only reason for follow-up is to create a relationship and keep it going, not to get a listing, not to make a sale. Now let's look at your newsletter. It is your number one follow-up tool. This is your passive follow-up done with your autoresponder. If all you do in your newsletter is list houses for sale or tell about those you have sold, I guarantee sooner or later your prospect will unsubscribe. At that point, you've lost them. If all you do in Facebook or LinkedIn is post listings, your connection will lose interest. So what do you do in all of your follow-up? Stop selling and start delivering good, solid information your prospect or client can use or will be interested in. Please now don't tell me you can't write. Here's some ways that you can be creative. Answer a question you were asked this week. Curate an interesting article you ran across. It doesn't have to be about real estate. To reprint an article without plagiarizing, you do what is called curate. To curate an article, write your own title, write a short paragraph about what the article says and why you think it's important, then post the entire article or the main parts of it, and at the end, give the writer of the article credit and a link back to it. You can use Google search to find all of your article subjects. Another good way to follow up is to call and say happy birthday. Now, calling is so much better than just sending a card, and don't forget the spouse and kids. You can use ghost messaging once a month to send birthday greetings to your entire list. Now, the whole idea of follow-up is to communicate to your list without selling. If your communications show you're interested in helping, educating, and advocating, other than just list or sell, 5 years from now, most of the people you're communicating with will not even think about somebody else listing their home and fully expect you to find their new home for them. I'm asked almost daily, just what is an autoresponder and how does it work? An autoresponder is a tool which allows you to automatically send out emails to a group or to several different groups of people. The key things to know are that subscribers sign up to receive emails from you. Now, this is required. Otherwise, your mailings will be labeled as spam and you'll lose the ability to send email altogether. Once the emails are written, the sending process is automatic. Using email in this way is an astonishingly effective way to communicate. This is called passive follow-up. Creating the email list is the backbone of successful prospecting. In today's world, the value is in the list. It will become your business's most valuable asset. Now that you have names on your list, you'll communicate with these people. After all, they've given you their email address for that very purpose. But if your communication is mishandled, I guarantee you they will not stay on your list. Typically, you'll write a short series of emails which go out to each new subscriber in the days, weeks, months, and years after they sign up to your list. This is what's called a newsletter. So if I join your list, I might get a welcome email on day 1, an introductory email on day 2, something else on day 15, and then more emails monthly until I unsubscribe. If you do the newsletters correctly, that will be a long time off. And we're going to talk more about that in Lesson 7. You write these emails once. You set the frequency you want them delivered, and then each time someone new joins, they get all of your email series. They get them in the order you wrote them and on the days you want your clients and prospects to get them. There's no further action required on your part. The huge benefit of this is that your time is freed up to get on with other things that you need to do. Every single subscriber gets the same series of messages. Even if you have 100 people sign up in a day or over a month, nobody gets left out. Just try handling that on your own without an autoresponder. The other cool thing is that you can send emails to your list at any time you want. So if you want to inform your subscriber about your new service which launches next week or a special event, then write one email, press send, and everyone on your list will get to hear the news right away. Here are some examples of bulk messages as opposed to your newsletter that you can create. You can do an e-course or e-learning. Your subscribers love this. They will love you for it. What you do is provide a free course of learning or training in anything dealing with the home. You can also provide great content. Now, people love quality content. Make them feel special because they are special and you value them. Then there's Remember Me. That's just an occasional personal email outside your newsletter to show that you're thinking about them. And then reheat and serve up. Just because some of your existing content may be old does not mean it has lost its value. Always ask questions. There's nothing better than great feedback from your clients and prospects. Let them tell you what they want and then give it to them. This becomes a real win-win situation. And you can always run a competition. People love winning prizes, especially if they're worth winning. These are just some examples. There are many, many more that you could use. Now here's a word of caution. These mailings should seldom, if ever, be sales-oriented. Let me repeat that in a different way. Never sell in a newsletter or follow-up email. Never use your newsletter to be a listing of your inventory. At the end of the newsletter, you can announce an open house, but do no more than announce it and link to the listing. If you are notifying your list about a listing, only send it to those that may be interested in it, and make the letter personal. Your autoresponder can be set up to use the person's name in the greeting. Always remember that a person must give you permission to get on your newsletter. This is called double opt-in and is done automatically by your autoresponder when a person signs up for your newsletter. That is, if you set it up to do that. The rules on spam are very specific. You're wise to adopt some of them to use on every business email you send out. Here are the 7 rules you must always follow. Number 1, don't use false or misleading header information. That's the from, the to, the reply to, and the routing information. You must include the originating domain name and email address. It must be accurate and identify the person or business who initiated the message. Don't use a deceptive subject line. The subject line must accurately reflect the content of the message. Identify the message as an ad or a newsletter. Tell recipients where you're located. Your message must include your valid physical postal address. Tell recipients how to opt out of receiving future email from you. Honor opt-out requests promptly. Now, any good autoresponder will do this automatically when unsubscribe is clicked. You must always monitor what others are doing on your behalf. If a third party sends email on your behalf and does not follow the rules, you are liable. Now, some autoresponders are free and some are not. A good paid autoresponder is Rocket Responder. They have a flat price of $99 per month. Some of the others, like Aweber, charge a minimum monthly fee based on the number of people in your list. Most of them do not allow the importing of a list. They want every email address on their service to be a double opt-in from the time they got on your list after you set up your account with them. Now, here is a way that you can act as your own host and spend less than $100 one time. What you do is get Arigato Pro Autoresponder and the accompanying Arigato Pro Intelligent Module plugin for your WordPress site. And we're going to talk more about that in Authority. Always send email from your own domain. Do not send using your broker's domain. Never use a Yahoo or Gmail type address for your business. People want to do business with a person, not a company. And there's more on that in Authority also. Get a Google G Suite account to send your newsletter through. You can use your own domain email with this account and it does not show the Gmail extension. And we're going to have more again on that in Lesson 7. Using the G Suite account will assure that you are not blocked from sending because you've been accused of mailing spam. You know, true authority never sells. Authority used to be called public relations. Now, to help you understand authority, I'll take some of the things I've discovered when I was researching my best-selling book, the 21st century transformation your prospect has changed. Now, this was about how prospects have changed since the advent of the internet. First of all, today, your prospects are depending on the internet to do their shopping. But at the same time, especially for real estate and other personal services, they still want to do business with a real person, not a corporation. When I do a public speaking event, I always start by making two statements and asking my audience to give me their first thought after hearing the statement. Now, that thought would be either true or false. And I follow those two statements with a question that asks them to choose which answer. So let me make those statements. First, true or false. Everything you see, hear, and read on the internet is the absolute truth. Second, true or false. If I tell you how great I am, you're probably not going to totally believe me. But if your best friend tells you how great I am, you will probably believe everything they say. Now, third, which is best for your business? To be the very best in your line of business, or to be perceived as the very best? Now, almost everybody answers these exactly the same way. Realizing these three facts is important as you go forward. You will want to keep these things in mind as you plan on how to build your authority. Now, we know from the research for the book, you must have a presence on the internet. We also know if somebody gets your name, before calling you, they're going to look you up on the internet by name. Therefore, it's vitally important you have positive listings when somebody searches for your name in a Google search. Keeping these facts in mind, let's look at what you must do in order to be found and then to be seen in a positive light. First, you must have a personal website. If you know anything about websites, you know that you must do what's called SEO, that's search engine optimization, which can cost hundreds or thousands of dollars per month to keep you on Google's page one. Now, the good news, it's not necessary for your business to spend that kind of money if you set up your web presence correctly. Now, let's start with a domain name that works for you. Not one you like, but one that Google likes. You need a proper domain name for a couple of reasons. First, so you can be found, and second, so you look like a successful professional when somebody does find you. Domain names can be purchased from GoDaddy.com, and they'll cost you about $20 a year. Now, a proper domain name would be structured in this way: name, city, profession, and position. As an example, www.DougJonesSanDiegoRealEstateAgent.com. Now, I capitalized these letters to show separation of the words. Do this when you print out the domain name, but do not do it when you are ordering the domain. Don't be concerned that the name is too long. People don't type in domain names. They just click a link, and that takes them to your site. To host the domain name, you need a host that places your website on his computer, which is available to the internet. A good host is tvcnet.com and will cost about $3 a month. Google requires your domain to be secure. That is done with a certificate which can cost up to $100 a year. Now, the good news is that tvcnet.com provides the certificate for you at no charge. Now, just a word of warning here. Never have someone else order your domain name. You must be the owner and the person paying for it. Never pay a web designer to get the domain. If you own it, it can never be held for ransom. I've seen this many times over the years where an unsuspecting business person has their web designer get the domain name and do the hosting. When the business wants to make a change, the business is held hostage and can only buy out the web designer. Okay, your domain name is DougJonesSanDiegoRealEstateAgent.com. So let's look at how Google reacts to a search for you that a prospect will do. If your prospect is in San Diego and searches for real estate agent, Google will return searches for listings in San Diego for real estate agent. If your prospect is in Cleveland and is looking for a real estate agent in San Diego, your prospect will type in San Diego real estate agent. Google will find your listing because the words San Diego, real estate, and agent are in your domain name. In that search, your prospect will find you before an agent that uses a corporate account whose domain name may be coldwellbanker.com. And when somebody searches for you by name, your site will appear at the top of the list. Other listings, like your LinkedIn profile, will also show. If you have enough listings to fill the entire page, no other agent will be listed. And video is a powerful tool to get listings in your search. And we're going to talk more about that in Lesson 8. Remember, Google's main purpose is to provide their client, the person doing the search, with the very best results they can give. And what we've talked about here is called an exact match domain. Now, about your website. The most effective website today is the same one that was effective in 1995. That's a simple one-page landing page, and there is even a formula that works, and it's truly simple. Now, I want to caution you, don't fall for the next shiny object web design. Since 1995, websites have been updating over and over again. The current, at the time of this writing, is a long single-page site with each subject reached by scrolling down. Now, this design was started because of cell phones. Now, that looks all good, except the problem occurs when you understand how Google indexes or lists the sites. Google indexes by page. Google cannot determine what a page is about if that page has multiple subjects. The subjects on this page are home, other projects, happy customers, and about me. Google has no idea what this website page is all about. To build your website, you can use a template called WordPress. The template is free from your host and is easy to use as Word, although a little training is necessary to learn it. There is plenty of instruction on the net and YouTube. Let's look at the formula for a landing page. The landing page contains an attractive banner at the top, then has an eye-catching headline and a short 1 minute or less video that is in your voice along with your picture. The video should be about your headline and an offer for your viewer to get something of perceived value. Under the video, you print out the script that you used in the video. On the right-hand sidebar is your offer and a form for your prospect to order from. By the way, the form and the delivery of this order is automatically handled by your autoresponder. The offer can be anything like a report or a sample of your newsletter, anything that can be delivered by digital means. A book you have written, especially one that has made the bestseller list, is worth its weight in pure gold. Imagine handing out copies of your best-selling book to every new person you meet. Business cards get thrown away, but books stay out on a desk, or at least on a bookshelf. A best-selling book's author is automatically seen as an expert, one of the top people in his field. Writing the book and taking it to bestseller status can be done by anybody in less than 60 days. Every one of my clients should have a bestseller to their credit. Now, here's the formula for making a bestseller happen when you write about your business. First, decide on the title. Doing this first helps clarify what you're writing about in your mind. Then write out the 5 to 10 questions everybody asks, and write out the 5 to 10 questions that nobody asks but everybody should. Once a day for the next 10 to 20 days, answer one question into a digital recorder. Take 20 to 40 minutes to give a complete answer and examples from your history. Send the recordings to rev.com. They charge $1 a minute to transcribe your recordings and send them back in Word, usually in about 12 hours or less. Then read through the transcriptions and do any touch-up, corrections, or rewrites. Then send those Word documents to somebody in Fiverr to edit and format for Kindle. And here's the key. Give the books to somebody like me who guarantees to take that book to bestseller status. Now let's talk about your email address. There are 3 basic rules you must follow to build authority. Never use a public address like @gmail.com or @yahoo.com. And certainly never use an address of the broker's business like @coldwellbanker.com. Always use your domain email address like doug@dougjonessanDiegoRealEstateAgent.com. Remember, capital letters are for easy reading only. Do not set up your domain using caps. Now, once your website is set up, you can focus on getting listings on your Google search to fill at least the first 10 listings on your search page. Let's look at some ways to do that. News release. You have a choice of doing free or paid news releases. If the purpose of your news release is to build authority, you must use a paid service. The simple reason is that the free ones are not indexed by Google, so they do not show in a Google search. You do want your releases to be listed. Remember, that's called indexing in your Google search for your name or company. The headline in your news release should always start with your name, your city, your profession, just like your domain name. When they do, Google will automatically list that news release under your name in a Google search. You do want your releases to be listed, indexed, in your Google search for your name or company. They will be indexed if your headline is proper. For instance, Doug Jones, San Diego Real Estate Agent, announces that his book, Real Estate in the 21st Century, is now #1 bestseller. That is an exact match to your domain. The other advantage to you is that the news release is not written by you, but rather about you. So it carries more authority than would an article written by you. Remember that question? If you tell them how great you are, they probably will not believe it, but if somebody else is saying it, especially in a news source, they will believe it. Once your news release is syndicated to the news aggregators, you can truthfully say, as quoted on ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, and newspapers like the San Diego Union Tribune. Reporters are always looking for material to write about. They use their company's website and news release publication to search for content suggestions. And if your release is about something they're writing about, they will call you. And then there are articles written by you. And don't overlook that many trade journals or small business magazines take submissions by individuals who are not on staff. Now, what you do is write good information-filled articles, and you have a chance of being published. In the lesson on follow-ups, we talked about curation. Curation should not be used for your original articles. However, it's quite appropriate to use a quote from a known authority that backs up the proposition you're writing about. Just be sure and give credit back to his article with a direct link at the end of your article. Then there are radio interviews and podcasts. Like any other media, these folks need to fill space. They are constantly looking for people to interview. The value of these recorded interviews is not you being heard in the media, but rather you using the recordings in your own marketing. You can also write news releases about your guest interview. You should know that some of these radio and podcast broadcasters may charge you to do an interview. Their name recognition may be worth the cost because of the marketing value. On your website, you should have a page for news, where every published article, news release, and interview should be posted. Only a real authority would have 20, 30, 40, or 100 news stories about them or articles published by them on their website. You can also have a page of your past clients telling about their experience with you. These should be on video. Selfies are okay for these reviews. You want to put as many of these videos on that page as you can get, 100 to 200 or more. Video will create great authority when used to teach and inform, just as you do with the written word. When you use the same title scenario as described in this lesson, the video will be listed in your Google search. And there is more about video in the following lesson. Okay, I'm going to close this section with a story about someone you recognize. This story is about Barbara Cochran. She was a waitress in New York and wanted to sell real estate, so she got her license and struggled for a few years. Now, she started to write articles and send them to local media, radio, newspapers, television. At some point, a celebrity was having a baby. Barbara wrote an article about what a celebrity would want in a New York apartment. Now, please note that she had never interviewed the celebrity and gave no indication that she had. The article was simply about a person like that celebrity and what they would want in a new apartment. The article was noticed by the style reporter from the New York Times. His article was titled, "Barbara Corcoran, Real Estate Agent to the Stars." From that article, Barbara got her first multi-million-dollar sale. Now, you can build a list of local media personalities and reporters. Then, using your autoresponder, you can send all of your news releases and articles you write to them. Then you can send a copy of your best-selling book. Now, it's not going to take long for you to become their go-to real estate agent when a story they are working on needs information from a professional expert. I include video here because video is so much more powerful than printed words. In my book, I found that people read headlines and bullet points. They are just too busy to read articles, but they will watch a short video. I want to make it clear that in this lesson, I'm not talking about video of your listings. I'm talking about using video as a tool to use in prospecting and follow-up. Content in the video is simple if you follow the plan I've laid out in the previous lessons. Teach, do not sell. Become a trusted advisor rather than being a salesperson. So, I've already covered the what to do, and here I'll outline the how to do it. Here is what you will need. Let's look at these one at a time. Camera. You already own a great camera. It's built into your cell phone. A basic rule of what makes a great video today is one that does not look like a slick production. People do not want to be sold, and a slick-looking video is too much like an advertisement. Selfies are perfect. They're real. They are you talking from your heart. You'll need a microphone. Even though a feeling of homemade is a positive in your videos, sound must be crystal clear. If your sound is coming from an empty room or a tin can, people will click off no matter what your subject matter is about. You can get a lavalier or lapel microphone for about $35 and the pigtail connector that your phone may need, and you'll be set up. If you're doing a selfie, you're not going to need a mic. Your phone should pick up your voice just fine at arm's length. If you're mixing live video with PowerPoint slides or pictures, record the voiceover using video so your soundtrack will sound the same on both live and video and slides. Your current laptop or desktop computer is probably quite capable of handling any need you have for producing video. You will need a copy of any presentation software like PowerPoint. Editing software will be what gives your video a professional feeling while allowing your video to still appear homemade. It will allow you to use your live video intermixed with your slideshow screens. It also allows you to edit your voiceover and get rid of your mistakes. Finally, you need a Vimeo account to host your videos so your prospects and clients can see them in your marketing and on your website. Your videos are relatively simple to make once you understand the process. Here I'm not talking about how to use the tools, I'm talking about the steps necessary to create the video. Start by determining the one thing you will talk about in the video, then write the script. Edit it down to just the facts. Read it out loud and time it. Unless you are teaching a process, be sure your video is about 1 or 1.5 minutes long. Determine which parts will be live with you talking on screen and which parts will be voiceover in your slideshow. Record the parts that will be the voiceover. Use your computer and microphone to record directly on your hard drive if your video from your slideshow has no selfie video. Record from your phone if you have some selfies. Be sure and test for sound quality. Do your selfies, if any, then edit them and upload them to your computer. Then prepare your PowerPoint. There are many tutorials on the internet showing you how to use PowerPoint. The only thing the tutorials will not tell you is how to set the size so it works for video. Click on Page Setup. In the pop-up box, set Slide Size On Screen Show to 16:9 and Slides to Landscape. When done, click on Save Every Slide. Save them as .png files. This will put all of the slides in a new folder as individual PNG files. These individual slides can be used in your video editor. For editing, I use Vegas Movie Studio. I use the Platinum version, which gives more flexibility and is just slightly more expensive. Make your movies MP4 at 640 by 360. Now that's perfect size for showing on a website. There are hundreds of instruction videos about Vegas Movie Studio on YouTube. YouTube is a free host for your videos and was a good alternative to a paid service. That is until just before the new year of 2019, then everything changed. Prior to then, you had several options on how you could set up your videos. One of those options was to not show recommended videos at the end of the video. Now that's very important to understand that in your marketing videos. Today, YouTube will show alternative recommendations if the video is stopped and when it completes. There is no way to keep that from happening. You do not want your prospect encouraged to leave your site by recommending they watch a different video. So what you do now is you upload your videos to Vimeo. When setting up your video after uploading to Vimeo, refer to Vimeo's Help Center for how to post to their system. When setting up your video after uploading to Vimeo, be sure and use the same titling format you used for a news release article. When you're doing the description, always start the description with the web address of the place the video is posted. Be sure to post every video on your website. Also include your phone number. The web address and phone number is so that people seeing your video on Vimeo can find you easily. You should also include the text of your entire script that was in the video in the description. Put 3 or 4 descriptive keywords in the tag area as you set up your video, and always use a thumbnail as the image that will be seen on your website. Use the iframe player code to post your video on your website. Now on the surface this sounds complicated, but it really is not. Get the software and spend one afternoon playing with it and you'll see just how easy it is. Video is one of the most powerful tools you will have in your prospecting and follow-up. Remember, name each of these videos with your name, your city, and your profession, and show the same information in your video description. Video will appear under your name search. That is the search that almost every serious prospect will do before calling you. You can never have too many listings under your name in a Google search. Okay, so let's review. There are 7 segments in this program: setting goals, prospecting, using a CRM, doing proper follow-up, employing an autoresponder, creating authority, and implementing video. Now that you've stayed to this point, I'm going to make an assumption. You're one of those agents that really wants to do better, one who really wants to double or triple their income. I want that for you too, and I'm telling you that you can do just that. Earlier I said you may be feeling overwhelmed. If so, let me put all this in perspective with a short description of the $1 Million Angle. It defines the only way you can set and reach goals that are never missed and will give you the end results you're looking for. It gives you a constant flow of new prospects, gives you the tools to nurture your prospects and customers so they become lifelong fans, and it confirms to the public you are trusted, knowledgeable, well-informed professional whose prime desire is to advocate and educate for their good. Once you reach that point, not one of them would fail to call you when they are ready to move. Of course, now we are talking about a done-for-you service that is on autopilot, where almost all you have to do is answer the telephone and make 36, 48, even 60 or more sales or listings every year. Here are the 7 segments, and I'm going to tell you how each one works with the whole and what we will be doing for you. Now, up front, some of the things that must be done we cannot do for you, and I'll explain those as we go along. I'm going to deviate from the order in this list just slightly and talk about authority first. The reason is some of the things we'll cover here are used in some of the other services, so you do need to hear about them first. As I talk about the item or service included in your Done For You package, the retail value of that item will be shown at the bottom of the screen. If the item or service is a one-time fee, a hashtag will be seen. If there's no hashtag, the fee is monthly. Clearly, the most important thing you can do for authority is to have your custom domain name. That alone ensures someone looking for you will find you in the first place they look, a Google search on the internet. Remember, the custom domain name is your name, your city, your profession.com. You must be the registered owner for this, so no one can hold it hostage. Care has to be taken to ensure the host is giving you sufficient bandwidth and the site is formatted so that it is safe, secure, and operates at the fastest speed possible. And we will provide hosting for you. One of the big advantages of your custom domain is that you can communicate using your own domain's email address. Your first name at your name, city, profession, position.com. We will build your landing page for you and produce the custom video for that page. Within your personal website, we will have customizable giveaways for giving current home value, for the seller who wants to get the most out of their home, for the first-time homeowner walking them through the process, and for the experienced buyer outlining the things they should look for in that new home that they probably never consider. We include another giveaway that can be of great value. This is the PDF version of John Smyth's best-selling book on mortgages, Residential Mortgage, Dream Home or Your Worst Nightmare. A mistake today can create pain for 30 years. The author has been kind enough to allow us to give you a copy to give away. His only caveat was that it must not be charged for. To ensure you get positive listings by third parties in your Google search, we will submit one news release per month and syndicate it out to over 200 news aggregators across the country. Not only will these show in your Google search, but these are also placed where reporters look for sources for their stories. We will interview you for these news releases. The release will be written by a professional writer. We will also post 2 articles per month with 2 business magazines. For these also, we will interview you for the articles. The articles will be written by a professional writer. None of these will be a curation. We will post both the news release and articles in Facebook, LinkedIn, and on your personal website. Nothing says authority like being an author of a best-selling book. Not 1 out of 1,000 real estate agents will give a best-selling book away as a business card. This could be you, guaranteed. In your custom website, we will have a private page devoted to the establishment of sales records. Not sales volume, but those sales records that tell you how many face-to-face meetings you must have each day in order to reach your sales volume desire. You enter data once a day. We provide the custom tool in your landing page website, and the page does the rest. Using our Ghost messaging platform, we will deliver up to 100 incoming phone calls a month, which will help you reach your daily goal of the number of people you need to talk to in order to get your desired number of people in your CRM every month. With Ghost messaging, we will deliver as many messages needed to get the number of phone calls coming in that you want. The list being sent to are custom to homeowner or renter and other criteria as well. These lists are deliverable to you and can be used in any way you desire. Ghost messaging is a done-for-you standalone service that is included in the done-for-you domination package. Voice recordings must be clear and concise. Yours will be professionally produced. Every call is tracked so you know exactly what you are getting. Protected territories mean no other real estate agent we represent will send ghost messages to anyone you are selling to. We will do one ghost messaging drop per month to the neighborhoods you have been farming. Normally, this is just to say hi and stay in touch, not specifically asking for business. Using LinkedIn, you can expand your prospect base and connect with higher income people. Your goal here is not to make a sale, but to create communication. It is best done by offering your assistance. Each day, Monday through Friday, we will submit 40 connection requests to your defined LinkedIn searches. This is done using an automated software, and I have to give one disclaimer here. We can give no guarantee that LinkedIn will not ban the process somewhere time in the future. When those people respond and connect, you'll use a script to aid you in getting your conversation started. This must be personal from you. In reality, you will spend no more than about 10 to 15 minutes a day on this chore. We will post the news releases and articles to your LinkedIn account monthly. We will also post articles and news releases monthly in your Facebook account and on your website as well. We will provide our online appointment calendar. That will send reminder messages a day or two before the day of your appointment. All done for you. You just answer the phone and take care of the client. One of the realities of real estate business is that about 1/3 of all agents change brokerage every year. Changing creates one problem that must be addressed if you're using a company-provided CRM. The records in that CRM are in the hands of the broker even after you leave. The information in that CRM is yours. No one from your old agency should have access to it. We will provide a CRM that is completely customized for you, and we will coach you in its use. You simply spend a few minutes at the end of each day logging your connections you have made that day. The leads and client information in that CRM are yours forever. When you intake a prospect or client, you'll be reminded to collect every bit of information on the family that you will ever need. The notification section in your dashboard will show every scheduled follow-up contact that is scheduled for the day. No one is left behind. The notes section is where the work in the CRM is done. It makes a record of every phone call and face-to-face you have, so just one or two keystrokes, you can access a complete record of every activity you've had with a client or prospect. The CRM database must be searchable. You should develop a series of code words that represent a prospect's or client's needs. 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, etc., etc. Whatever you're doing with follow-up now, don't stop. To aid you in staying in touch with your list, we'll do a Someone is Having a Birthday message drop each month to those in the homes of your clients and prospects. You just give us the list and we'll do the rest. Just an aside, a birthday wish can be sent to the homeowners in your farm as well. There are other tools in Autoresponder and Authority that will aid in follow-up. Your Autoresponder is your number one passive tool in follow-up. Installed and customized for you on your website, saving you thousands of dollars over the years. Newsletters are your big advantage in keeping someone subscribed to your mailing list. Follow the outline we were talking about, and a large majority of your contacts will not unsubscribe and will stay with you over decades. Content must be engaging and interesting. In your done-for-you service, you will get 100 months of newsletters, none of them selling real estate, all of them making you a welcome entry into their inbox. That said, anytime you want to replace a scheduled newsletter with your own content, we will make that substitution for you. In order to keep from being blocked by your host for spam, you will be enrolled into G Suite. It is attached to Gmail, but uses your domain email address. You will have the ability to send personalized email to every address you have in your files. You can sort the files in any way you want, one list for clients, one for prospects as an example. After every email you send, either newsletter or personalized, you'll get a report showing if the email was opened, and if there was an attachment in the email, you'll see if it was clicked. This is an important tool that tells you if your efforts are paying off or not. Earlier, we talked about the advantage of video over the written word. An effective video on your website cannot be overlooked. Its value is understood once you realize that it is simply that people just do not read anymore. When you use your script, which we help you write, in your video, we will edit and render it into a movie and post it to your account at Vimeo. You will get the player code so you can post it to Facebook or anywhere you desire. You can even link to it on your cell phone. You've seen the value at the bottom of each item in a segment. Now let's look at the value of each segment if it were purchased separately. Some items may have a setup fee or a one-time fee. Those are listed as setup fees. Monthly recurring fees are listed as such. We won't talk about annual fees here. To track and set goals, we put a tracker on your website. This is the value if it had this custom code created for your website. Once on your site, there would be no cost to you. Prospecting includes up to 100 phone calls coming into you. It includes the ghost messaging farming drops and the birthday drops with unlimited messages, custom lists, custom messages, professional recordings, call tracking and protected territories, email tracking, and online calendar. Additional drops will be done at sharply discounted pricing. A good CRM could cost up to $400 a year. The real value here is that your leads and clients are 100% yours. You share those with no one. Follow-up ghost messaging birthday drops are included, and more follow, which are included in the autoresponder. Autoresponder installed on your website, 100 newsletters and auto delivery, G Suite, sending individual email and an email tracker. Authority custom domain hosting, landing page with custom video, printable, customizable giveaways, the best-selling mortgage book, 1 syndicated news release per month, 2 syndicated articles per month. This also includes taking 2 books to bestseller status. And most of all, every listing on the first page in your name search in Google. Your own sales video on your landing page, video custom script, edit and render into a movie, post it to Vimeo, post or play it anywhere. Here are the total retail values of each segment in the Done For You program if it were purchased separately. Setup would be $10,760 and monthly would be $2,498. Total value of setup and monthly combined, $13,258 in the first month. But of course, we're not asking you to pay that much. Our Done For You monthly fees when you book through the webinar are $1,597 per month, including all setup fees. Setup will take about 30 days. This includes complete training. You save over $11,000. But you do not pay now. Not everyone qualifies. I will only work with those that I know will not fail. And I limit the number of agents I work with in any city. I guarantee no competition to any other agent working with me. And you may decide it's not right for you. But this is a webinar, so we do have a special offer. If you click the little guy crushing prices below the video and request your interview, then book your membership at the end of that interview. We will give you a $500 per month savings your first year. You pay only $10.97 per month for the first year, and that includes all setup fees. Let's see if we are right for each other. You can start today. Just click the little guy crushing prices right below. So, are you ready to find out if you can create your perfect world? But wait, there's more. Take action the first time we talk, and I'll offer you our Barbara C package. Our Barbara C package, which proactively gets you in front of the media. It is normally only offered to clients who have published 2 books and have over 2 complete years with us. When you take action at the time we both agree to work together, the first time we talk, you'll be eligible to take advantage of it as soon as your first book is published. And you'll qualify for drastic reduced cost as well. The package starts with research to locate print, TV, radio, and podcast producers in your local area. Then to initiate and maintain a line of communication opened with them using your news releases and published articles. Our normal charge for this service is $1,500 for the setup and $1,000 a month. And it is only available to clients that have been with us at least 2 full years and have published 2 books. But if you act today, order the service and pay for the setup, the program will start after only 1 year and the publishing of only 1 book. You will only pay $500 for the setup, not $1,500. And when the program starts, you will only be billed at $500 per month. So just click on the little guy that's crushing prices. You'll be taken to my appointment calendar, and let's talk. Thanks very much.